Good afternoon. Welcome back to America Bumper to Bumper. Today we are going to do another How Well Is It Held Up, and we're going to do it on our car. How well has this 2011 Buick Lacrosse held up over the years and the 3 years that we've had it? Let's find out. But before we get into how well it's held up, it's kind of dirty, so we're going to do some cleaning. And here we are with another family edition of How Well Is It Held Up. And as you saw from the our opening, it's our own car, our 2011 Buick Lacrosse CX. So let's take a look around the car and see what we all find. And being that this is the CX model, CX being the base, this came with the 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder, 6-speed automatic. The upgraded models would have the 3.6 liter V6. This car has variable valve timing, which is a pain in the ass. It's got not a whole lot else. And the transmission in this particular car we replaced back in November. It had had issues previously, and this is what's called a lifetime transmission, which basically means you never know when the lifetime is going to be because it's sealed. You can't check the fluid, you can't change the fluid. It's not a very smart design. If I were GM, I would never, or any car manufacturer for that matter, I would never do a sealed transmission. Even though people don't know today as much about checking fluids and doing all that good stuff as they did 20 or 30 years ago, everybody should have a dipstick to be able to check stuff, because it really hurt us a lot having to put in that other transmission. Let's go around to the trunk.
We did not put a brand new transmission in?
Correct. It's not a brand new transmission. It is a used one. Actually had more miles on it than the one that was pulled out. The one that was pulled out had 85,000 miles, something like that. And the one that's in this, I believe, has got over 100,000 miles on it. So
seems to be working pretty well, though.
yeah, it's been doing good.
Yeah, it makes me nervous, though.
Yeah. All right, let's go around to the trunk. Although it is hella dirty back there and full of stuff, we'll show you what the capacities are back there.
You're not gonna talk?
No, this is actually a really, really good-sized trunk.
I've laid down in that trunk before.
Yeah, I don't know how far back in you can see, but you could definitely fit, if you were going to sneak into the drive-in, you could definitely fit a couple people in here with no problem. Not that I suggest you do that.
Nobody goes to drive-ins anymore. It's not a thing.
Yeah. Now, the one thing about this that I really don't like, again, you know, they're trying to save weight. I understand that, you know, all that stuff, but this is your spare tire. Yes, I'm going to say that again. This is what they have for your spare tire. It's nice that you have an air pump. That's great. But this side, this is just tire goo that you're supposed to put in your tire, and hopefully it's going to hold so that you can get to, you know, a repair shop. I think it is the biggest cop out of most car makers is putting something like that in. You know, there's some, a lot of tire damage that that gunk won't fix. So now you're stuck. You're stuck. You have nothing, and you've got to call, you know, somebody and spend a lot more money than had you had a spare tire and a jack and been able to at least get you to a repair shop. So, but anyways, nice big trunk. You know, your kidnapper trunk release. Yes, it does work because she tried it. Yep. So, yeah, decent size for the size of the car. Definitely holds a lot of stuff. Now, a few things. This is a 2011. You've got paint that's chipped off and rusting there. You've also got,
But don't forget it right here. Chip and rusting.
Yep. Chipping and rusting right there.
Chipping on the bumper.
We've got on the door. We've got the aluminum hood rusting, or not rusting, but corroding along the edge, at least over there. I think there's also another spot somewhere that's got
The whole...
oh yeah, this is the way we bought the car. Lady that owned it before us apparently may have backed into something, but hey, you know, we needed a car. The one we were gonna have, we had at the moment was about ready to be repossessed, so we got what we could take. You know, we took what we could get. That's what I meant to say. And this was it.
Overall, though, for a Vermont car, no rust other than those little spots.
Yep.
Right? And that's rare. That is really rare.
Very much.
Yep.
All right, let's.
It's been a little while since we've looked underneath it. Who knows now?
Yeah, we're not gonna. Yeah. Let's take a look again at the inside. Back seats. And for a family of 5 with a dog, not the best color for an interior, but it's held up pretty well. I mean, no ripping in the seats. Everything else looks good.
Dash is good.
Dash is good. Yep. So not bad at all. Right, so the car has power windows, power door locks, automatic headlights, which is a nice little feature there. This is all for the cruise control. This turns the system on and off. Cancel, of course, set and resume. Your turn signals plus this button here, menu, will change your display. It says it'll bring up like tire pressures, and then you use this little thing to go back and forth between everything with the with that. And then we've got fuel and trip info, navigation, which this thing doesn't really have, timer, average speed, average fuel economy, fuel range, trips. Got your speedometer, which says it goes up to 140. This vehicle would never in a million years hit 140. Temperature gauge, fuel gauge, and your tachometer. Over here is your instrument cluster for heat and radio. All the functions built in down here. Of course, radio and heat and stuff. Door locks. This is always was a odd thing for me, is having the door locks down over here. I always am looking for it over here. Even though we've owned the car for 3 years, I still find that that thing happening. And of course your stick shift, your
Gear stick?
thank you. And your parking brake. Of course, over here is your windshield wipers. And OnStar, which we don't have on in this car, costs too much money. And you've got your dome lights and stuff there.
Is this something?
In more expensive versions, yes, there'd be a sunglasses holder or glasses holder there. But this is the absolute base model, so no, nothing. And of course, rear seat. Say hello.
Hey.
So not much really here to go over. So let's take it for a ride. So seats, in this car, they aren't bad. I've sat on worse seats, but I've also sat on a lot better seats. Isn't that correct to everyone?
Zelda's better.
Yeah, Zelda.
Yeah.
Driving dynamics, it is what it is. It's a good, for lack of a better thing, because a Buick Lacrosse isn't a basic car. They're generally well equipped. They're generally a little bit more of like a middle of the road car. But this particular version, because it's the CX, it is the bottom of the line. That 4-cylinder engine, the transmission, is about the most advanced thing in this, with being, a 6-speed. Doesn't have a lot of the driver's aid. The driver's seat, is power, but the rest, this seat isn't. Does have power windows, but you'd be hard pressed to find any car nowadays that does not have power windows. It drives like a good sedan. What do you guys think?
Oh, I like the car. I think I've always liked this car. We never really needed any bells and whistles, and so this was, pretty much fit the bill. How does it ride?
It's okay.
We like Zelda better, but she's a classic.
Yep. That's when car companies cared about comfort and not. See, back in the 90s, early 2000s, everybody was worried about the next sports sedan. So every car, after that point is, had the kind of harsher, not harsh, but the stiffer seats, stiffer ride, not really luxurious. But cars in the 80s, if it was a luxury car like a Lincoln or Cadillac or, even Buick, comfortable seats, comfortable ride. You weren't gonna, win any, drag races. You weren't gonna be the best around an autocross course. or a racetrack, anything like that. But man, were they comfortable.
Yeah, my grandparents always bought Buicks, and I can remember they were just solid, nice cars.
Riding this is not terrible. I mean, it's comfy, but it's definitely not cushy. It's not. It is what it is.
Now it did have it had 58,000 miles on it when we bought it.
Yep, 58,000 when we bought it 3 years ago. We're now up to 90,000, just over 90,000. Has it been reliable? These engines with a lot of GM engines with the variable valve timing, which this
Oh Jesus!
ouch. The solenoids that control the variable valve timing go, and so that's been an issue. We've had to replace both of those. This thing sat for about a year because the transmission went in it, so it was absolutely undrivable. We had to recently, because of the sitting for a year, we had to put brakes on it, and that's, I don't know, second or third time I've did brakes. The other 2 times were just pads, not rotors, but this last time I had to do the whole kit and caboodle. There's something going on with the engine. Again, I've heard from other people that these are known for having timing chain noises and eventual failures. So this thing's living on borrowed time. But as life goes, we can't afford to get anything different right now, and we definitely can't afford well, I shouldn't say definitely, but we can't get Zelda back on the road at the moment because of money situations. Otherwise we'd be driving around in her because she's a whole lot more comfortable, even though she doesn't have air conditioning or windows that work. But anyways,
How many trips to Virginia do we take in this car?
2. Yeah, I think 2, but one of them was with a transmission that was.
Right, we were lucky that we got down there and back.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. So that's, sound system is decent. It's not anything, amazing. I've heard way better. I've heard way worse. Heater works good. That's one thing I've always said with any General Motors car that I've owned or and done videos like this on. Heaters always work great. There's good room in the back, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're 6 feet tall,
okay.
and you're back away. I've got plenty of room. Can stretch my legs out.
But if I was there, I wouldn't have all that much room.
Right. But I don't think it's a bad car. Would I recommend it to somebody? Yeah. I mean, I would recommend this car to someone. We actually have, when our oldest daughter's home, it's a little snug for the 3 kids in the back. We've managed. But yeah, I mean, for a family of 4 or a couple or whatever, I think this is a decent vehicle to have.
Agreed. So this is the end of this video. What do you think?
We have had, how many vehicles have we had in our?
Oh gosh, I couldn't even
22 years of marriage,
yeah.
30 something at least.
Easily.
And I would put this up probably in the top 10 as far as comfort and reliability. The transmission was a huge issue, but it wasn't. Apart from the money aspect of it, it wasn't hard to get it taken care of. The body is held up really well. And I'd say it's one thumbs up for comfort. It's good.
It's Gucci.
It's Gucci.
I'd say it's alright. It gets the job done. It moves things.
And that's pretty much my thought as well. it's good at what it's made to do, get you from point A to point B. You know, doesn't have any
Nothing to
bells
write
and
home
whistles.
about.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about. You know, it is reliable, other than the transmission.
How's about the engine?
Yeah, and the engine. Yeah, so there's issues, but I mean, it's gotten us all, you know, from where we needed to be. I mean, even when we took that trip to Virginia, when we noticed that the trans was bad, it got us there. It got us back. It didn't get us any further, but it got us back.
That's the most important part.
Yep. And yeah, it's a good car. I would recommend this generation Lacrosse over the previous, and I definitely like the newer ones as well. So, all right. Have a day.
So long from the fam.
Have a day. Hopefully it's a good one.